Tunable, Tunable, Tunable,
Uniball.
Tunable.
Uniball.
Welcome back for episode 11 of the Do You Know Ball podcast. This one's gonna be a little quick one. Not much has happened over the week. Some more topics we will be discussing on a later pod next week. But we're gonna hop straight into things. Starting off with one of the biggest news that happened this week, which is Cody Bellinger is signs with the Chicago Cubs. This is amazing. I mean, Boris actually got one of his players to sign before the middle of the season. Can you believe it, Matt? Like honestly.
I'm like, wow, I saw it. It was like 2 a.m., 3 a.m. or whatever that it went through. Pretty surprising. Pretty surprising.
I didn't think it would be done, but 3 years, $80 million. Opt out after the first 2 years. Year one, he receives $30 million. Year two, he receives another $30 million. And then the final year, he receives $20 million. Now, Bellinger has put up a great number. So this is a big steal for the Cubs. They got their guy back. He put up great numbers with the Cubs last season. He got 26 homers, 96 RBI, 97 RBI, excuse me, 20 stolen bases, and had a 307 average last year with the Cubs. It's a great signing for him overall.
hmm Yeah, no, it's great for the Cubs. You get your guy back. He kind of resurged his career a little bit. A lot of questions this offseason. Would he be able to keep this up? Is he going to get hurt? Cubs, they finally got their guy. And I think we all said it to begin with that we thought Cody was going to go back to Chicago. And Boris gets it done. 3 years, 80 million, 30 million the first 2 years. 20 the last year with opt-outs. I think it's solid for both sides. Cody can try for a longer term deal after this year or next year. And at the end of the day, Chicago gets another piece to hopefully push them over the edge in the NL Central Division. And does this make them favorites? It pushes them in that direction.
I mean, it's funny you said that, mentioned that about his contract, and we talked about what he's getting over 3 years, but the opt outs really play a big factor in all this.
Yeah.
If he doesn't play up to par, he's going to stay with the Cubs and just take the money that he's receiving for
hmm
the second year.
Yeah.
But we could see him come out of the first year with a similar numbers, great numbers, and try free agency again, opt out of his contract and try to get a bigger deal with a different team because we know what Scott Boras is capable of. So to see him opt out after the first year, if he puts up similar numbers, it wouldn't be that much of a stretch to see going forward.
hmm
But that's really all we have on Bellinger, Mr. Bellinger. Now we're gonna move into some, I don't know what you would even call it. Like, just news. It's just it's just news. I don't know why they're even doing stuff anymore. Like they already have their God Squad, they already have their Gauntlet. It doesn't make any sense anymore. The Dodgers made yet another move this offseason. Now, it's not a big move. They traded Manuel Margot to the Twins to make room for Kike Hernandez. Like I guess if you want uh just a utility man, I guess that's a good deal for the Dodgers, but I again, like I said, I don't really see why they felt the need to do this because Manuel Margot is, I mean, if you want to put it in hindsight, maybe could be arguably better than Kike Hernandez, especially now in the MLB. Kike's been having a few rough years the past couple of years. So they didn't get much back for Margot, but the whole plan was to sign Kike. They got back Noah Miller, and they just cleared up money to receive Kike. I don't know, Matt. What's your thoughts on the Kike signing?
I like it. Right. Kike stats not great. Nothing to bad eyes over. But Kike's been with the Dodgers before. He knows LA very well, knows the coaches, the players. So I think chemistry wise is going to be great. What's interesting though is I think in a way to respond to what you said, I see him a little bit more valuable than Manny Margot simply just because Kike's utility. He's a platoon guy. He can play pretty much everywhere. And another interesting thing, the Yankees actually offered him a contract, and it came down between the Yankees and Dodgers, and he went to the
Did
Dodgers. I believe it was the contract from the Yankees was around like 4 million. I don't know what the Dodgers offered him. I think it honestly could be the same price. But the reason he chose the Dodgers over the Yankees simply just because more playing time. And I don't blame him. I think the Yankees lineup is pretty set right now. I do know that the Yankees are looking for bench bats, and this Kike report kind of came out of nowhere. I think we all kind of learned from Kike himself. He said it to John Heyman. So I don't blame him for going to the Dodgers, and you can argue that they're World Series favorites right now. But every horse needs its pony, right? You have the horse, you have the saddle, you have the jockey, but you still need a pony. You still need the hay. You need all the little things to make up the winning horse. So Kike, as little as a guy he is, he adds some good value to this Dodgers team.
Yeah, I guess he does. I mean, he's been a postseason hero. Uh, for the Red Sox is one team. He was really good with them for the postseason. He was also really good with the Dodgers for the postseason, pinch hitting, and that's what he does. That's what they're going to use him for. They're going to platoon him and put him wherever they so choose,
Yeah.
depending on who's pitching that day or depending on what they need for that day for that lineup. So, yeah, it makes a little more sense, I guess, now that we talked about it, but you know, it's still I just feel like the Dodgers are done. Like they didn't need to do it, but they just did it anyways as a big just pretty much F you to the rest of the MLB. I mean, they're a powerhouse. They from top to bottom, their lineup's great. From top to bottom, their rotation's great. Even their bullpen's really good. So I mean, they're going to be a team to watch out for. But in previous years, they've had if they lose this year, I've made this clear on previous podcasts. If they lose this year and they don't make it far, or they don't win the World Series this year, I just see it as a complete waste of time for them to sign all these guys and bring all these guys in because they're not going to have the same exact lineup and roster as they did this year next year. So it's going to be interesting. Also, I do want to touch on that there was a few other offers, a few other people were involved in trying to get Kike Hernandez. Two other teams were he mentioned this on an interview he did. Two other teams were the Angels and the Giants. Now, I believe they didn't make good enough offers to him or they just really didn't reach out. It's one of the two. But he ultimately just I guess picked what's most familiar to him. And he knows going into this year that he is going to have a minor role with the team, considering
Mhm.
of how stacked a squad they have. But yeah, Matt, introduce our next topic.
Okay, we have something that honestly kind of shocked me. Brandon Crawford, his 13-year run with the San Francisco Giants is officially over. That's right.
Done.
A long time loyal native, San Francisco, is gone. He is signing with the St. Louis Cardinals. Now, Brandon Crawford shouldn't be an unfamiliar name. Four-time Gold Glove Award winner, one-time Silver Slug Award winner, two-time World Series champion with the San Francisco Giants. This man had himself a career in San Francisco. Very surprising to see him leave. I always think of Brandon Crawford to be a Giant, maybe not a legend, but a fan favorite. Someone in the Bay, someone that you can rely on, someone you can, trust at the plate and with the glove. But like I said, this departure is pretty surprising. Brandon Crawford did actually share some words. Um, quote, the bottom line is I was not wanted back by the one person whose opinion matters. That's his word on the departure. So it seems like the front office, maybe he's taking a shot at the GM ownership. Who knows? They didn't want him back, or they just want to go a little bit of a youth movement. Now, if he stayed with the Giants, it's not like he would have propelled them to contending
Oh, definitely
status.
not.
No,
Definitely
but
not.
I don't know how the fans necessarily feel. I know one Giants fan. I think I gotta go shoot him a text and ask him how he feels about this. So, how do the fans feel? That's what I'm more concerned. Not so much about the Giants losing Crawford, but how are the fans doing? Are you guys in shambles right now? I mean, I know the team's not great. It sucks actually. So you might be in shambles. But does this send you even more into shambles? Who knows? Who honestly knows? I don't know. I don't know. It doesn't ring my bell. You know what I mean? It
Yeah, I
doesn't
know what
ring
you
my
mean.
bell. Yeah. I
Yeah,
mean, it's just a move for the Cardinals. Just another veteran lefty.
if I was in their shoes, right? This and I can only relate this to one person for me because this was my era when I started paying attention to baseball and when I started getting into baseball. This would be like if David Wright went out and put on another uniform. I wouldn't like it. It doesn't matter how old or injuries or if he didn't play that great the year before, it just wouldn't sit right. It just wouldn't feel right. So the fact that he is now gone and he has now signed with the Cardinals, it's has to be unsettling for Giants fans. He's been good for them. He's been had his ups and downs. He won World Series rings with them. He's done a lot for the organization as a whole, and that glove, man. I mean, I saw some clips the other day on Twitter, and he's just smooth with the glove. So it's definitely a great, regardless of what happens, it's definitely a great defensive pickup for
Hmm.
the Cardinals. So it's going to be interesting to see him play in a new uniform. Maybe the new uniform gives him more life. Maybe he plays better with a more of a minor role this
Surges his career.
this year
Yeah.
with the Cardinals. I don't know how old Brandon Crawford is, so he has to be getting up there in age. What's his you know his
Definitely.
age? You know his age,
Um,
Maddie? Because he has to be getting up there. You have to wonder how many years he has left.
37.
37.
That's a lot. I
Yeah.
I was honestly gonna say like 34, 35. That's a lot older than I thought. That's crazy.
Yeah, he's been
That
around in the
is.
league for a while now, so you
Hmm.
got to wonder how much he's got left in the tank.
Hmm.
So I mean, it's good for him that he signed with an MLB team this year, but definitely gonna be weird to see him play a different role because he's not going to be
He's
a
not the.
starter.
He's not the guy.
He's
Yeah.
not going to be a starter on the Cardinals. He's gonna take up a different role. Maybe they play him when a righty's in, and they play him a day there to give their shortstop a break, a breather. Maybe they play him at DH, get him a few reps there. Maybe it's all gonna come down to whatever the Cardinals think is best for to use of Brandon Crawford. So,
Hmm.
I think it's a fun signing for the Cardinals, but I do feel for the Giants fans out there
Hmm.
a little bit. But Maddie, you got our last topic. This is a quick one, quick pod, but last topic of the night.
We said it was gonna be quick, and we're gonna make it quick. Kris Bryant, Brisk Bryant, however you know him as. That's a little dude perfect reference for those OG people out there. Kris Bryant the other day made some comments about reflecting on signing with the Rockies, and honestly, it's hilarious. I have never basically seen a professional athlete just come out and say, I regret signing with this team. I'm not going to read the full quote. It's pretty long. It will be on your screen now if you want to pause and just kind of read it, but I will give you a little bit of a summary. In 2021, Kris Bryant was a free agent, started the year with the Cubs, was traded at the deadline to the Giants, who were at the time in first place. Cheating lab question mark? That's a topic for another day. Anyway, Kris Bryant, you know, grew up in the area, so a lot of people thought he was going to go back to the Giants, but he didn't. And out of nowhere, just signed randomly with the Colorado Rockies. And this raised a lot of eyebrows because one, they just traded Nolan Arenado because they wanted to save money. So to what's the point? You trade Nolan Arenado to save money, but you'll sign a worse third baseman for a ton of money. It doesn't make sense. It didn't make sense on the Rockies end. It didn't make sense on Kris Bryant's end because at the time, you could say, I wouldn't say he wasn't necessarily at his peak, but he was coming off a really good year. So whatever team Kris Bryant signed with was going to be getting a great guy to add to a contender. But we all know the Rockies are not a contender. Kris Bryant basically says that he misjudged the Rockies farm system. I don't know how you sign with a team, especially for the long term, whatever it was, a 7 year contract, if I'm not mistaken. I don't understand how you sign a long term contract with a team and not look into their farm system and not look into the ownership, not look into what they have. For example, you have Manny Machado, right? When he signed with the Padres, everyone was like, why is he going to the Padres? At the time, the Padres were poop. But now look at them. They're a pretty good team. Manny Machado looked into their farm system and see what they had coming up. Marcus Simeon, Corey Seager, same thing. When they signed with the Rangers, everyone was like, why are they doing that? Why the Rangers of all teams? They just won the World Series. They just won the World Series. This is a very overlooked thing when it comes to free agency. You have to look into the farm system. You have to look into what the team is going to look like. You're not going to win with the team that you sign with within like the first 2 years or whatever. It always is a process, which is why these major leaguers are so willing to commit the rest of their careers to a team because they have faith in what's to come. Now, it really appears here that Kris Bryant did not do the homework when it came to the Colorado Rockies. And there's actually more to this story. So we had the whole baseball lockout, right? No baseball, no signings, right? When it ended, everyone was reporting to camp except for Kris Bryant. And because of that, he felt the need to make a decision. Kris Bryant's words, oh, shoot, I need to get there. There were other teams interested, but I didn't want to wait around. It was a completely different situation for a lot of free agents at the time. I guess I didn't do as much research into the prospects as I could. Blatantly says it out there, didn't do his homework. He just wanted to sign with a team. He just wanted his money. He just wanted to play baseball. Now, I don't know what teams offered him a contract. I could maybe find out, but kind of limited to time right now. So it's just very interesting and very funny that I believe, still has like 5 years left on this contract. I might be wrong, maybe four. I honestly don't know how many years he has. I don't know. It's just so funny that he still has a big chunk of time left on his contract and he's just openly saying, I regret signing here, or I should have looked elsewhere. So, little fun story for you guys. You can find the
Yeah.
full interview online somewhere, but it's just a funny one. And I for a guy, it's not like a random Kris Bryant, former MVP, for a guy of his stature to just kind of come out here and say it. Rockies fans, we're talking about Giants fans, Rocky fans. How do you feel? How do you feel?
Yeah, it's not I mean, it's not just that, dude. Like Kris Bryant, you can't put everything on, oh, I guess I regret signing here because I didn't look at the farm system. The Rockies had nothing when he went there regardless too. I don't think he even not only didn't look at the farm system, he just didn't look at the team as a whole. Like, who do they got? Like Charlie Blackmon? Who else? I know, dude, I don't even know his first name, but Diaz, the catcher. I know
The
he
thing
made.
with yeah, I know Diaz was an all-star last year, but like I genuinely don't know if he was good or if he was on the team
Yeah.
when Kris Bryant signed. That's the thing. The Rockies have never really had other than Nolan Arenado, they haven't really had like another guy, right? So that's
No,
just
they
why
haven't.
it's just like with Todd Helton. I guess that's the best Rocky I can think of.
Well,
Charlie Blackman, but he's past his days.
also,
It adds to the confusion. Like
I
why?
mean, they had DJ, they had Tulo at a
That's
certain
true,
period of
DJ.
time. They had Trevor Story at a certain period of time.
Oh my
Uh,
God, I feel
it
so bad. I forgot about DJ LeMahieu. I'm sorry.
yeah, they had good people at a certain periods of time, but like, so you can't put, like I said, you can't put all the blame on the organization and the fact that you didn't do your homework, you didn't do your job, and didn't sign with a contending team. I mean, we could have told you that when you signed with the Rockies that we weren't going to contend for. I mean, God, for the foreseeable future, I don't see the Rockies contending for a long, long time. And
It'll be a
you
while.
know, in total, again, not can't put it all the blame on the organization. Kris Bryant, you have not been healthy. You have not been healthy for years, on and off the IL. Barely played games last year. I don't know what the amount of games you played last year, but can't be much because you're hurt most of the time. So you can't put the blame all on the organization. It's just not fair to the organization. You need to be healthy. You need to play your game, and you need to play baseball. You need to suck it up and play baseball. You can't. Oh, my back hurts because I know a lot of last year he missed due to a back injury. And it's just one thing or another. Play a full season of baseball and then complain. Put up good numbers and then complain to interviewers who or people who talk to you. Then complain about the team and the contract you signed. Don't complain when you haven't played a full season since you've gotten there. I mean, he was really, really good when he was on the Giants. Really good. Goes to the Rockies and just goes through a slew of injuries. Slew of injuries. So again, I don't see why I don't see why he's doing this because it means nothing. He's getting paid regardless of what he says. And it's really at this point just blasphemous to me. Like I think
Mm-hmm.
he should just shut up and play baseball. That's my whole take.
I really like that was a good rant. You think he's like shivering in his boots hearing that? The Mr. Zach Papp went off on him.
Yeah, he
I
could very much could be. Like, I mean, dude, I wanted when he was gonna sign in free agency, I was selfish. I wanted him to sign with the Mets. But then I
No
saw him
one wants to go to the Mets, bro. Oh
dude,
my
dude,
God,
don't
let's get
start with me.
past me,
Don't start with
bro.
me. Don't start with me.
No one wants to go to the Mets. Who's
Don't
your starting third baseman right now?
Fred Beatty. That's how it is. But we have a more dude, don't even go there because it's like if you compare the Rockies to the Mets, it's like apples to oranges.
I genuinely would rather be a Colorado Rocky than a Met right
Okay, so
now.
you genuinely rather go in the 162.
No, purple's a cool color.
That's what you'd rather come in last place every single year. That's what you'd rather do, right? Like
Well,
I'd
you do the
hey,
same
I'd
thing if you were a
rather
Met.
I'd
You'd do the
rather
same thing if you were a Met. The Mets are a fifth place team this year.
that's neither here nor there. They could be a
They
bottom
are.
tier team, but
They are.
you never know. You
They
never know.
are.
The season hasn't even started yet. You can't count them out. They have an actually decent hitting lineup. They have a roster. They have a decent lineup, but their rotation is just so weak.
We're throwing around
Bullpen.
the word decent like it's nothing, I guess, huh?
I didn't say best, didn't say great, didn't say good. I said decent. Decent's
Decent's a little
fair.
bit of a strong word for
Decent,
the Mets.
no, decent's fair. For the
No,
Mets, it's decent's fair.
no.
Don't don't do this. Don't do this right now because
I'd
decent
I'd give
is
like a
fair.
solid meh. I'd give a meh, but decent is a little bit too much.
What do you talk? How is that a meh? That was the Mets lineup meh? It's
They're
decent.
meh.
It's
No,
all
they're
right.
not.
They're not
Not decent.
terrible, but they're not great either. They're right in the
Any
middle of the
team that
road.
has Joey Wendell in your starting lineup is not good. Any
Joey
team
Wendell
with
is not in
DJ
our starting
Stewart is
lineup.
not good.
Joey Wendell Joey Wendell
DJ
is not in
Stewart,
our starting lineup.
DJ Stewart.
DJ Stewart may play a few games, but there's other things. There are other
You
things.
throw me behind the plate, I will be more productive than Francisco Alvarez.
Okay, that's where you just gone off your rocker there.
I'm
Like
not, bro.
I can't believe you're actually
I
saying
could
this right
bat
now.
210. I could bat 210 if I was paid millions of dollars.
You can't do half of the crap that Francisco Alvarez does. You
You're right.
can't.
I could do more than half the crap he does.
You just see this is what I mean. When I say out here that I hate Yankee fans, it's the truth. When I sit back and I tell the viewers that I hate Yankee fans, this is the reason why. And you're one of the main reasons why I do not like Yankee fans.
I would say I hate Mets fans, but they don't
Derailed.
have many fans.
You say I derailed a segment the couple pods ago. You
You
completely
did
derailed
because
this
you were
this this
insecure
Chris
about your
Bryant.
poopy team.
Dude, dude, all I was saying was I was selfish enough that I wanted Chris Bryant to
Yeah, and then I said
way back
Met.
when, but they
I
you
said
know
no,
what you know
not.
what the
I
Mets
said not
did?
everyone wants to be a Mets. Not
You know
everyone
what
wants
the
to be a
Mets
Met.
did? And I'll tell you what the
You
Mets
know what the
did.
Yankees did? This is what the Yankees did. 27.
Weren't alive for any of them. Maybe one.
One.
One and you didn't even
How many
watch
were you
it.
alive for the Mets? How many were you alive for the Mets?
I wasn't alive for any. They only won two. The last time they won was 1986.
What about the 2020 World Series? You remember that one? I remember that one. I wasn't alive, but I remember who won that one.
The 2020 World Series.
2000. Sorry, my fault.
Two that okay. Well, that was Yankees Mets, wasn't it? 2000. and the Yankees won. Yeah. Okay. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, Matt. It doesn't matter. We weren't talking about that. I was talking about the fact that Kris Bryant, I wanted Kris Bryant when he was a free agent, but the reason the Mets didn't sign Kris Bryant at that time is because in their farm system they had Brett Beatty, and everybody was hyping Brett Beatty up as he was going to be like the next coming of David Wright, like the next version of David Wright, and that just hasn't panned out yet.
And he sucks.
He has sucked, but this is going to be a very big year for him, a big prove it year. You can't just take matters into your own hands right now and derail everything we were talking
Uh,
about because all
it's
I
not.
was
You're right.
trying to
You're right.
say,
It's not worth my breath. You're right.
all I was trying to say was that Kris Bryant was on the Mets radar when he was a free agent. Mets didn't sign him. I was a little upset, and then when I saw the that he signed with the Rockies, I just asked myself the same question you did. Why the Rockies? What do they have? What do they have that the Mets didn't have? What do they have that other teams didn't have? It was a bizarre signing, and now he's regretting it because that team ain't competing for a championship for a long time. A long time. I mean, they got to do significant things. Their bullpen's terrible. Their rotation's terrible. They don't really have a lineup. They have maybe, if you want to count Bryant if he's healthy, Blackman, Diaz the catcher. That's that's Ryan McMahon maybe.
Nolan Jones.
Nolan Jones, he's pretty good. I mean, the squad is not great. You need a lot of superstars and you need a lot of firepower to come up from their farm system, which they just don't have. They don't have any of it. So I don't know what management's gonna do or how they're gonna react to all this. They really I don't know if they even have a choice or is the a say to even react and make something happen with Bryant. But if a player on my team said that if a player on the Mets or if a player on the Yankees said that, I know Cashman would have some choice words and I know Steve Cohen would have some choice words along with David Stearns. They would both have some choice words to say to their personnel. But nonetheless, nevertheless, Kris Bryant, just shut up and play baseball. That's the whole thing. That's the whole point. Shut up and play baseball.
Hmm.
Play full season and then talk to us.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Well, that about wraps it up. Wraps up tonight's pod. We have a very, very special pod coming up. It's actually coming sooner than Friday. Fans, viewers, you're not gonna have to wait till Friday. We got a pod on Monday night coming out. Monday night with a very special guest.
Hmm.
Super excited to have this guy on. I
Yeah.
can't wait for him to come join us and talk sports with us, talk about baseball, talk about spring training. And here's the kicker. We're going to throw a little hockey in there. Little hockey.
Little
Haven't-
hockey.
We haven't touched about on hockey yet.
Who are we?
We're
Yeah.
trying to we're trying to expand to more sports. Baseball's our main priority, as the viewers you guys know. But yeah, next week should be special. Week 12, episode 12, and there'll be another one coming out on Friday. Maybe we get sideline fans back on the pod too. Maybe double guest week. We don't know.
Who
But
knows?
all we know is that Monday is going to be a very special pod, and we will catch you guys there. I hope you guys enjoyed episode 11 of Do You Know Ball, and we will catch you guys next time.